Hi, peeps. Welcome to the It's Your Life in Your Choice 2 podcast, where only you can change it. This is a side segment called Alley Ups and Alley Oops. Now, I'm trying to record for Thursdays as well. And Thursdays, I believe I want to give input like a little bit more on my story and give you details on the things that I went through to get to where I am now. I was going to start with how my old marriage went, but instead I'm going to wait on that a little bit longer, and I'll just start with my childhood. Now, I did not have a great childhood. I have a lot of terrible memories from it. I do have some good. It's a mix of both. However, no offense to my mother, she was doing what she could with the tools that she had, not knowing any better, and she was also going through things in her own life. That, yes, granted, that's not my fault. However, I'm accepting my past as for what it is, and there's not really much I can do to change it, but instead learn from it and just agree that I don't want to be that parent. I still turned out pretty okay, at least in my opinion. But she was an authoritarian parent. It was her way or the highway. She did go through an abusive marriage that not only she was abused, I was also abused because I was half adopted by that man. My father was not around. That's a whole nother story. Don't get mad at him. It's honestly not really his fault that he wasn't around. Either way, the man that was in my life and who was playing the role as my dad at the time was a very abusive man. And it was a lot of if you did things wrong, you're automatically getting disciplined and reprimanded for it. And there was no talking back. Even though you're just trying to explain your side of the story. You want to get smacked? Well, stop talking back. Even though, say my brother lied out of his teeth about what was going on, and I try to explain my side, well, it's talking back. So, I had to deal with because I said so. I was the kid that was curiosity killed the cat type of kid. And I was constantly getting in trouble because I was trying to explore my world, explore different things, but I was also constantly living in fear of being in trouble. I constantly also got grounded because I acted out as a kid. I didn't want to conform to these ways of things. I wanted to live my own life and do my own thing. And because of that, it still stems into my adult life now. How I do things, how I act. I'm a very high functional person. I don't like when people don't follow the rules because I had it ingrained in me that I had to be a rule follower. Otherwise, I was going to get into big trouble. I was going to get my butt beat or whatever. With that being said, I'm now having to break the generational curses so it doesn't flow on to my children. It has not been easy by any means. Like the saying goes, easier said than done. It is not that easy for me to want to break away from these habits, to want to be able to be a better part of me, to grow and change. I'm trying my best with what I know, and I'm trying to learn more so I can provide these tools that I'm learning onto my kids. I'm trying to learn what gentle parenting is, but it's not what everyone thinks that it's permissive parenting. Gentle parenting is still setting healthy boundaries for your kids without being an authoritarian. That there still is discipline involved. However, it doesn't go to the lengths of having to whip out a belt or something like that. It's still saying, hey, what you did was wrong, and I'm going to take your phone away, your tablet, no TV privileges, you're going to go sit in timeout, whatever that looks like for you and your family dynamic. But you're still setting that healthy boundary with your child to let them know what they did was wrong. and explaining why what they did was wrong, so we don't do this again. So we learn from this mistake so we can move forward. Now, that's not that easy when you come from an authoritarian kind of helicopter parent, because she wasn't always hovering over me, but she was always wondering where I was, that I did things at a certain time, that I really didn't get to go out with friends. I didn't get to hang out that much until around high school time. That's when I got to go out a little bit more and have a little bit more freedom, but at the same time, she was no longer in that marriage. Other things were going on. My grandfather was still home, because we did live with our grandparents. And he used to, even, because I wasn't allowed to go play outside a lot, even though I lived in a day and age where it wasn't that scary. But even then, like, my grandfather would say, come on, let's go play outside, while he's working on the fence or something. And I used to have to sneak my shoes. Like, literally, I'd crawl and slither like a snake to go get my shoes to go sneak outside. Now, I never actually snuck out of the house, because I was way too scared of that. Plus, there was really no way to sneak out of the house. That just wasn't a thing. I did lie often, though, about places I would be, where I was going. I paid the price one time of getting stuck in the mud with my boyfriend at the time, and we weren't able to get the truck out for a hot minute, that we had to walk in order to get the truck out. And I got home a lot later than I was supposed to be. Even though I did keep my mom in the loop, I still had a price to pay when I got home. That is my own fault, my own doing. Live and learn. I never did something like that again, I'll promise you that. But given everything that I've gone through, from the horrible ex-husband she had, which I'm so thankful he's not in our lives and left my life around middle school year, so things started to kind of get better. But I feel like this is most teenagers. I hated my mother's guts in high school. I wanted to emancipate myself and get away from her. And now we have the best relationship ever. I don't talk to her that much, but I do confide in her and I trust her guidance. I didn't understand before, because I felt like she didn't know exactly what I was going through, what it's like to be bullied, and I wasn't willing to listen, because again, that's most teenagers. We think that we're hot stuff and we know everything, and well, you're wrong, you don't understand, woe's me, things like that. And come to find out, she was right about a lot of things. Not everything, because she didn't know the entirety of my circumstances, of the bullying I was going through, how I was so depressed that I didn't want to be here anymore. And I did a lot of things to try to delete, you know. I'm thankful, though, for everything that I've been through, because it's taught me so much about life, and I understand now why I had to go through those things, because I was being prepared for something greater. I was being shown that I had a purpose, even though I had to go through all of this stuff and I had to deal with these things, that there was more to life for me. This was structuring me for success. And I could have taken it. Not many people that go through situations like I do take it the way that I have. Some people turn out rotten, and they use and they clutch onto, well, this was my childhood. Granted, me going through the things that I did in my childhood was harsh. And I did used to play the little violin, pity me card. But now that I have a greater understanding of what life is about and what I have to truly look forward in life, I'm now taking a different turn, and I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. I'm sorry, Mom. for what I'm about to say if you do listen in on this, but I'm glad I'm not where my mom was at this age. That I'm trying to do much better than where she was. Again, she just had the tools that she had in life, and this is where it was. That's her journey. I'm on a different journey, but every now and then I have used, and I'm not saying that I'm better than my mother, but I try my hardest to not be in the same position she was. I do kick myself that my marriage ended up being a little bit physically abusive, but mostly mentally abusive. I kick myself for having that marriage and having kids in that type of marriage. Though, you really don't know a person until after some time. So when the rose-colored glasses start coming off and the true shell of who they are starts revealing themselves. And by then, it was already too late. However, yes, I had a failed marriage, but I don't want to go back to living at my mom's. I don't mind living on a family compound next to my mom, but I don't want to ever have to go back and live with my mother. Because I feel like that would be rock bottom for me. And that would be so hard. My kids are very unique children compared to others. They have some delays, one being autistic, and he's not far on the spectrum, but he's definitely on it. My kids are free-spirited. They get loud. They are noisy children, but they are happy. And my mom doesn't have kids in her house anymore, and she's used to the quiet now. And my kids can get pretty loud. I don't want to disturb her peace. It's nothing against her, the dynamic of her home. I don't want to disturb the peace she has. Because her kids are all grown up now. I mean, we're in our 20s. I'm 26. So, I don't want to walk backwards. I want to continue to walk forward. I've had some hard times in my life, and I've learned from them, and I'm not trying to repeat history in any certain way. And again, that goes back to using my mother as an example for me as to what not to do, and learn from her mistakes so I can move forward. And that goes the same with parenting. Learn from her mistakes where she failed as a parent. And I want to teach the things that I was never taught. The things that I had to learn through the struggle, through the mistakes. Because I don't want my kids to end up how I started out in life. How I was struggling, had a failed marriage. And I'm still am struggling as is to be the best mother I can be. However, I'm making it a thing to make sure that my kids have the best life that I can provide them, and teaching the things that I never knew so they are set up further in life than where I was. I don't want them living in poverty. I don't want them living like where I have to and I have to ask help from the state. I want to be able to be in a position one day that I can homeschool my children, and I have a homestead, a garden, a backyard, a huge backyard with animals on the property and everything. I want my children to thrive more than I was given the chance to. And I don't blame anyone for it. It's just, that was my life path. That was the things that I needed to go through in order to get to my successful future. That my story was written and I was just going through it. I didn't understand it at the time, and now I do. The structure that I was giving is setting me up for the future. And it's a matter of mind over matter. Yes, these bad things happen to me, but I'm not using them to crutch onto, to cradle them. And instead, I release them and accept them for what they were, and I'm changing that into a growth aspect, a healthy aspect of, you know what? Yeah, these things happen to me, but I'm a better person now. and I can use my life experiences to help others along the way. Maybe they've had a similar situation that I went through, that I'm able to understand and somewhat get on the level that they're at, and be able to, like when they say walk a mile in my shoes, because of the life experiences I have created wisdom, so I can step into other people's shoes and say, I understand, I empathize with you, and I get what you're going through. Everything happens for a reason. And I do thank you, Mom, for being the best mom that you could be with everything that you knew, given the circumstances that you were in and everything. I love you, and I'm glad we have the relationship that we do now. I honestly hope to grow even more than this and be able to influence my family around me into wanting to do the same and grow in their own ways, heal from certain things in the past where it no longer harbors in their soul and clutches onto them. I want them to be released from all the pain, guilt, worry, shame that they may feel, and truly blossom into the people that I know they can be. And I want that for everyone else as well. I'm excited to see where everyone goes on their life journey, and I want to hear about it. So if you would love to send in an email, you can send in an email at itsyourlife.yourchoice2@gmail.com, and send in your life story or things that you're going through in certain circumstances. Whatever you're dealing with, I'm happy to read your emails. They will be read anonymously, but I'm going to share them on the podcast and give you advice of what I know from my wisdom, from my life experiences. I'm not a professional. However, I can give you a educated opinion based off of the things that I've learned and what I know, and give you a broader perspective. If maybe you might be a little bit of the issuer, then I'll let you know, hey, maybe just take some reevaluation on your life. Whatever the circumstances may be, I'm still here to help. I don't want to hinder anyone. I want to see people grow. And I'm excited. I really am excited to see where this goes. So I wish you guys the best and hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this. That will honestly help my page and my content grow, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening in on any of the other apps. I'm happy that you guys are here. So give a like, give a follow, share with other people so we can grow the content and bring more people in. I love you guys.